Parent's Guide to a Screening Report using STAR. This is what a screening parent report looks like in the tools STAR Reading and STAR Math. It also gives you a variety of scores that we will go through to help you understand. These reports should be shared within the family's primary language. Let's start with the scaled score, here labeled SS. The scaled score is your child's score across a range from 0 to 1,400. It is generated based on both how many questions your child got correct as well as how difficult those questions were. Of all STAR scores, this one is the most sensitive to growth. Many parents state that the scaled score has little meaning to them since they don't know how other children did in comparison or what range is expected for this particular age and grade level. But this score is used within the STAR system to track performance over time. All other norm reference scores noted on the parent report are based on the scaled score. In STAR's former family report, the scaled score would next be used to generate a grade equivalent, abbreviated as shown here with the letters GE. The name of this score leads to misunderstandings as to what it means. So let's take a minute to discuss it, even though the current family report appears to no longer include it, which we are very happy about. Grade equivalent scores range from 0 to 12.9 plus. Sounds a lot like our traditional model of school grades, K through 12, doesn't it? Please do not read into this score as literally a grade equivalent in that manner, as it doesn't mean exactly what you think it does. Take, for example, if your 5th grader takes a screening assessment and scores a grade equivalent of 7.6. The parent report will say that the student's score is equal to that of a typical 7th grader after the 6th month of the school year. This score does not necessarily mean that your child is capable of doing the math at a 7th grade level. It only indicates that your child's math scaled score is well above average for his own grade level, the 5th grade. Often people misunderstand and think that the term grade equivalent means that this child's math skills are at the 7th grade level. It doesn't mean that. The next score we will discuss is the one that parents report having the most meaning to them once they understand it. It's called the percentile rank, labeled here as PR. Like screening, percentiles are not a new concept for parents. When our children were young, many doctors at well child visits would give the child's height and weight and plot it on a percentile chart like this one. The chart was a way for you to see how your child's growth compared to others nationally. Since all children are different, this data can be viewed on a bell curve. We always have some kids in the more extreme short or tall, or thin or heavy, but the majority of kids fall within an average range of normal, and that normal range is pretty wide. Either way, these percentile ranks or PRs are not good or bad, but rather how our children trend is what is important. Percentile places your child in a range from 1 to 99 as compared to other children nationally. The score represents the percentage of students who scored lower. For example, a 38th percentile means that 38% of students scored lower than this child nationally. And because the assessment is only a snapshot in time, the parent report has a PR range, which represents the possible range due to statistical variability. In academic achievement and IQ tests, normal is considered anywhere from the 25th to 75th percentiles. So it's important that parents don't think of this like a school test and that your child needs to be 70% or higher. Even a relatively low number for a percentile rank can be considered average. And statistically, again, like the bell curve, we should have very few children in the super high or super low. As a parent, what is important to note is when your child is in that lower range, say 1st through 20th percentile, and the school is intervening, giving them something more, your child's scaled score might be increasing, showing they are learning, but maybe not enough to catch up to the other kids because they are learning too. Percentiles will show you if your child is making up lost ground, and this will show on a progress monitoring report like shown here. We want the goal line and the trend line to match up or for the trend line to be higher than the goal line, but that's another video for another day. Again, it's a bell curve with a large range considered average or normal achievement. Kids who fit in and out of that range go on to lead super happy and successful lives. The percentile is a snapshot in time, and what matters is trends over time, just like our height and weight charts. These are kids, and we know that their growth is not always consistent. Their learning and development is complex and often not linear. Remember what the score means. If a student at the 89th percentile dropping 2 points still puts that child well above average and doing great. Maybe he or she had some amazing social emotional gains during that time and the assessment showed nothing of that because it's about math or reading. And focus on the overall trend and whether or not the student is within the expected range. Also, sometimes a student doesn't take the assessment seriously or maybe isn't feeling great that school day. The school data will show that the assessment was done either too quickly or that it seems like an anomaly compared to other data points and they will reassess. Large changes in the scores sometimes just mean that there was an error. Ask your school if you see that. If your child has an IEP, well, any parent really, you can request this data at any time. After screening windows that are often in the fall, winter, and spring, or maybe even just annually at IEP time if you don't have any concerns. Please celebrate growth. Be excited with your student, even if it's a small growth. Pay particular attention to percentiles because as your child grows there, it means that not only did they grow, but they grew enough to move up as compared to other children nationally. That's a big deal and a lot of hard work for students, teachers, and you, parents and families. If your student is below benchmark, a percentile threshold, typically the 25th percentile, the student would be considered in the yellow or the red. If so, ask your school about how they are responding. What's the intervention plan? Additional layers of instruction? What's the small group? Are they using STAR to progress monitor and watch for growth? You could ask to see the progress monitoring growth report. Don't panic. Work with your school and remember this is a proactive system. There is nothing wrong with your child. Your school is doing exactly what it should be doing. Thank you for watching this video and for all that you do every day for your child.